Well, seeing is it's a slow night for people going live or shows, and I'm sitting here with my lovely wife and four dogs, one that loves to bark at me. And well, I figured I would hop on and do a live and talk about something that I kind of know about fairies, dragons, leprechauns, and some other mythical creatures. Hey, Stubbs, what's up, brother? You know, seeing as I work at a Renaissance festival, kind of right up my alley, you know. Um, so and I've got the link here in the chat. So if anybody wants to come on and talk about mythical creatures, you know, um, hi Genevieve, how you doing? Caught your live earlier. You know, like fairies. We all know about fairies, and we're not talking about the ones light on their feet either. You know, um, but fairies. Let's talk about fairies for a little bit. um, Fairies are those annoying little humanoid creatures with wings. They're I would say they're what about maybe 3-4 inches.
The twig is about 5 foot.
Wow, that's just a giant fairy. But a typical fairy is like you see in the movies with they show other fairies like what is that? The one with oh god, what's his name? He's dead. My wife was laughing at my ass. Um, my wife was laughing at my ass. Hey Stubbs.
What's up, man?
Oh, talking about fairies and other mythical creatures.
Hey, fairies wear boots. What's up, man?
Oh yeah. Fairies and other mythical creatures.
Hey, fairies wear boots.
You got an echo.
Yeah, I turned it down. Fairies wear boots, and you gotta believe me.
Oh, I they wear boots in the movies as well.
It's a Black Sabbath song, man. Just saying.
But you've seen Labyrinth with David Bowie, right? You know, those fairies aren't very big. They're what, maybe 4 or 5 inches? But they're annoying little cusses, I'll tell you that. You know, one they like to hide keys.
Oh yeah.
So if you're missing keys and you're like, well, I put them here, and yeah, the fairies got a hold of them.
What about the missing socks?
Now, though, that's the occasional sock eating dog.
I was going to say, I thought that was just the dog hiding them under the bed.
Um, we have one that likes to take socks and drag them out to the yard. You know, but the missing that has to well technically that's got to do with something in the dryer because you
Yeah.
put in all your pairs of socks and then you come out with one odd. I bet you that's one of them dryer fairies. Yeah, Genevieve, I go outside quite a bit. The Renaissance is full of fairies down there in the forest. But fairies, they're mean little buggers too. Um, if you don't give them an offering, shit in your house is going to go haywire. Now, what do you offer them? I have no fucking idea.
Come on, man. You're supposed to know these things. I mean, you went to the Ren Fair.
Yeah, I know leprechauns love
Rainbows.
Pots of gold.
that and potato vodka.
Potato vodka.
Yes, because it's made with potatoes. Um, they also love to start shit with fairies. Hey, Nads.
What's up, Nads? Why don't you jump on, girl?
And let's see. And we got Peaches. She's on.
Hey, Peaches.
And Genevieve says, just be nice. Cat calling them mean, just calling them mean is already making for a bitch slap. Well, as long as I don't mess with my motorcycle in the morning, I'll be fine. You um, actually, you can offer fairies up an offering of a thimble of rum, and they'll be happy. You know, I found that the fairies here like to drink Captain Morgan because it's what I keep on hand. I don't keep all that other shit.
I actually have some of that in here.
Just a little thimble. That's all you need. They're little. They get drunk very quickly. You know.
Well, hey, man, I just wanted to pop on and say hi. So, good seeing you, brother. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, Stubbs. We'll catch you later.
Yep.
So next time I catch your stream, watchers dance around as orbs around. I will do that. You know, I haven't seen them around you yet, but I'll be watching. Definitely. You know, but yeah, fairies love Captain Morgan. Just a little thimble offering for them. They'll be happy. You know, and if you get the cranky ones, a little bit of chocolate. You know, um, that works with any cranky woman. Actually, don't hit me. I didn't get a look yet. um, but don't take if you're going to offer them chocolate, just open it up, set it on the counter next to the rum, and I'll be fine. Because if you just take it and chuck it at them, and they'll try to catch it, but they'll go splat, hit the wall and go splat. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to hurt them. You don't want to kill them. You want to be nice to them. You want to appease them. Um, Sometimes just singing, just picking a song and singing out loud will make them go away because the only singing they like to hear is themselves. They're pretty self-centered, you know. And why do I say that? Because they hide things, they cause trouble, you know. I think a fairy is in the one of the dogs that we watch every weekend because likes to cause problems. Just digs holes in the yard, goes through the fence, makes a lot of noise. I think that one's got a fairy. At least a fairy attached to it. You know. But fairies can also be really nice, you know. Eventually sometimes you get that one that wants to help you and just be the nice, help you along and do things. Um but if you've watched the movie Leprechauns with Randy Quaid, they weren't they're pretty full of themselves, I'll tell you that. Um, they think they're all that, and then that kind of leads me to the leprechauns because the leprechauns love to drink and just cause problems. Period. You know, they like potato vodka because like I said, made with potatoes. Um, you mostly will find them and the fairies, a good chunk of them in around Ireland, United Kingdom area. Why? I don't know. Leprechauns, Ireland, it's green. It's just a green thing, short. I mean, a leprechaun is what, maybe 3 feet tall, not even four. You could easily turn them into a football and punt them through the goalposts. You know. So Nads is confused a little bit. Anyone wants to let her in on fairies? What does that mean? It's easier to let all the watchers be part of the joke. Actually, Nads, depending on who you talk to, um, fairies are real and fairies aren't real, depending on who you talk to. Now, they're definitely a mythical creature because whether you think about it or not, do fairies actually exist? Who am I to say they aren't? They don't. I can't say that. But if you think about it, if you set your keys on the table, when you come in the door, you set them on your table, and you go back 5 minutes later and they're not there, it's a good chance you either have a good case of can't remember shit, or you picked them up or moved them, or the fairies got a hold of them. So it's one of those three. Hey, Frogzilla, how you doing? And I tend to believe that I picked up the keys and put them somewhere to where in a pocket, my leather jacket, my vest, my pants, which is always a good first place I look. One time I searched the house a half hour looking for keys and they were in my back pocket. How they got there, I don't know. Um, Obviously I put them there, but when you see things that you can't explain, simple little things that you can't explain, I tend to blame the fairies for it because I mean it's not something on a big scale. It's the little things like your keys go missing, or um, your your razor's not in the right spot where you left it last. Stuff like that. Little things around the house. They like to mess with you. They like to move things, mess with you, and just create havoc and just sit. And they sit back and laugh because they think it's funny. Um, you know, um, no, Nads, I'm not joking. Some people do believe in fairies, and some people don't. Like I said, but who am I to say they don't exist? So, um, fairies also help with nature. You know, if you watch the right movies, fairies are the keepers of nature. They help encourage it to grow. The tree of life and all that. Um, so that's why your grass grows. Well, your grass grows because it rains, but that's why your grass is green. That's why you have the water cycle. That's why you have all this stuff for nature. That's why you have flowers. Your grass grows. Your trees turn green. In that world, the fairies take care of that. So, um, yeah, I'm gonna check out that song. I didn't know Sabbath did that one, but yeah, depending on who you ask, fairies exist or they don't. Now, the logical is the weather cycle, because the water cycle, because of our planet's um, atmosphere, stuff like that. Leaves turn green because of chlorophyll and the sun. So there's logical, but when you talk to the other people, fairies exist. Um, the more logical, scientific, fairies don't exist. It's an easy way to say, to blame it on something that's not there, that doesn't exist, rather than to rationalize in your mind of what actually happened. You think anybody who has time to wander and worry about fairies people, anyone else got more time on their hand? um Actually, Nads, this has been a debate. I mean, for a very, very long time. Um, Fairies, you hear tales of fairies dating way, way, way back. Even the Celtics talk about them. Here, catch a story of them. That's why you got fairy oracle cards, fairy tarot decks. Um, the Fae are very, I want to say they're pretty powerful, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
They're very powerful and very giving, but yet they take away as well. You know, um, but let's see. You just think if we were capable of spending time focusing on someone else's life when ours are not perfect, we might be the. Actually, I'm not focusing on anybody's life or anything else. I'm focusing on mythical creatures. Like I said, I worked the Renaissance, so we're surrounded by mythical creatures all the time. We got fairy wing forest, and the name says it all. We got fairy houses down there, and um, they actually do. It's not people going down there moving things around either. No, things do get moved around and redecorated. Unless some drunk person goes down there and does it, but they get eaten up by mosquitoes too. and they have the mosquitoes help them to keep unwanted people out from that forest. That's what I believe. But the houses they have down there are very beautiful, very well built, very nature. Of course, they're very nature like. So um, most of them are made out of dead trees. You know, you know, for their homes, or they're in a stump that's been from a tree that's been cut down, or um, storm took it down or something. But they make their homes out of everyday things in life. You know, but so so yeah, that's about fairies. Like I said, I'm not talking about people that are lighter on their feet. No. So, but yeah, fairies to some people are very real, and I'm not gonna dog them for that. No, nope, 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 nope. And if you move on to leprechauns, well, you know, Nads, you can come on to the show. You know, pop on and talk a bit. You know, leprechauns, they're troublemakers. Um, they're about 3 feet tall, but who cares? You know, they have what's a stick called a shillelagh. I think it's called a shillelagh, and it's actually a weapon for them. It's a weapon. You know, um, that they use them to beat the heck out of fairies. They're mortal enemies. You know, but they can work together at times to accomplish great things. Hi, Lori. How you doing, sweetheart? I miss you so much. Um, but leprechauns love vodka. They live in Ireland, of course, because they're short. They're green, pot of gold, the four-leaf clover, all that. And not actually sure what leprechauns actually hold a purpose for. To be certain, but other than to cause trouble to the fairies and beat the shit out of them, you know. Um, but like leprechaun, I mean, but like fairies, leprechauns have a helping hand in nature as well. You know, so without working hand in hand, as it would be in the world, everything will die. You know, our plant life, our trees, the flowers, the grass, it'll all die and it won't bear fruit anymore. Um, you're not, I mean, we would go on surviving and stuff, but nature itself just won't survive without the fairies and the leprechauns. Um, and if they neglect the tree of life, it, yeah, things will definitely go south, and you would have to, they would actually have to work together to get things back in harmony. Now, you know, don't go watching the movie Leprechaun, you know, the horror movie Leprechaun, because not all leprechauns don't go around killing people. No, they go around killing fairies. And fairies go around killing leprechauns. So there you go. There's your leprechaun fairy control. And leprechauns are actually very sneaky and cunning because, oh, you catch me, you get the pot of gold. But if you have you ever caught a leprechaun? No. Have you seen a leprechaun? Nope. Why? Because one, they're not here in the United States. I'll tell you that. Two, you go to Ireland to find one, you ain't gonna find one. Nope. Because they just like the Klingons, they got invisibility. There you go. How about that? Um, but they like to get drunk. They like to play tricks on everybody. Um, I think they actually did derive from the fairies. You know, I shouldn't say derive from the fairies, but they're in the same family, so to speak. Gloria, you're too tall to be a leprechaun unless you're 3 feet tall. Oh, you have lots of fairy. Yeah, well, I bet you do. I ain't gonna argue that one. Yeah, how do you explain? Yeah, we'll just leave it at that. um, but yeah, leprechauns like to wear green. They have the cool hats, the pointy shoes with the gold buckles, um, and they're smiling and they like to hop around and you know joke around. Um, they also like to give you riddles um, for you to try to solve. You know, but the thing is, if you catch a leprechaun, they got to give you their pot of gold. Well, where's their pot of gold? Because of it, I've been to the end of a rainbow and it was never there. So you can't say there's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. You have to catch a leprechaun to, well, legend has it, you have to catch a leprechaun to get their pot of gold. Well, if they're invisible, you can't see them, then you can't catch them. So, um, but I wouldn't mind seeing a leprechaun. I wouldn't mind. I mean, I really don't have an interest in catching one. No, I would just like to sit down with one, drink with them, and listen to all the stories that they can come up with. Just talk to them, because they're many hundreds of years old, just like the fairy, just like the fae. And imagine all the stories they could tell you. Um, I'll get drunk off of that one. um, you know, so there's leprechauns, there's fairies. Now this one, you if you don't believe this one, y'all got to get yourself checked. You know, dragons. Yes, there are dragons. I have a picture somewhere on my Facebook and phone of a little baby dragon. It was an actual real baby dragon. It was probably no more. There's the camera. About like that big. Fits in the palm of your hand. You know, it won't get no bigger. That's full grown. But the picture could have been photoshopped. I don't know. I mean, who am I to say that it's not real? I mean, it was on Facebook, right? So it's got to be real. Um, there's your Komodo dragons. Are they actually really dragons? Um, Probably because they don't have wings. But why would they be called why would they be called dragons then? Um, Probably had no purpose for their rings, so the wings. So over time, they just lost them, and the wife is going to bed. you know. Um, so yeah, the Komodo dragon just doesn't have use for the wings anymore. They can just crawl around, stick their little tongue out, bite you, and then they'll just find you and eat you. You know, um, and over the years, yes, they did get smaller because they just being bigger, they just couldn't find food anymore, so they just shrunk to get the food that they need because the world's overrun with rodents and stuff. So that's what they eat the rodents so they can survive. So they they grew smaller to um, to adapt to their environment. Hey Vegas, how you doing, sweetheart? You know, um, so there's one type of dragon for you, and you've got you really can't say birds are a type of a dragon. I've never seen a bird spit fire. Have you? No. I've never seen a Komodo dragon spit fire either, but it doesn't mean that at one point that they didn't. So, um, I think a snake is actually some form of a dragon that just lost all its limbs and its wings and just turned into this one big, long, ugly, moving stick, as I'll put it. um, you know, um, you know, snakes. I hate snakes. You know how Indiana Jones can't stand snakes? Yeah, that's me times 10. Um, no, ain't no snake coming in my house. Nope. Ain't no me touching one either. Nope. If it's loose in the house, I ain't in that house. No way. Um, but more, more power to the people that have them. Great. I'm not gonna knock people who like snakes and they have snakes as pets. No, it's just not my thing. That's all. Um, but nose itches. But I think snakes are one form of a dragon. That's my thinking. And then you got the dragons that live underground, which would be, or are kind of like underground. Think you're like your salamanders are a type of a dragon. Your worms are just the poop from a dragon because they can't do anything. But I think salamanders are a type of dragon. Yep. Um, then you got your dragons that live in water, which I think are just I couldn't even think of a dragon that lived in water what would look like today. Um, you know, so unless you want to count a mud skipper, but those are ugly. You know, and dragons are pretty smart, pretty cunning, and they'll get what they want eventually. Baby dragons, yeah, like I said, I have a picture on my Facebook of a baby dragon. It fits in your hand. But who am I to say that it's either photoshopped or not? How do I know? I don't know. I'll take it at face value, though. You know, and so moving on from dragons, you know, you gotta be careful because you never know when a dragon's gonna pop out of the sky and create havoc and eat your sheep. um, then moving on, you got unicorns. That's right, unicorns. Why don't we actually see a unicorn today if you look hard enough? They're not on land anymore. Nope. Nope. They went from the land to the sea. That's what the narwhal is. That is a actual unicorn. Just went from a horse to a whale. Or not. I don't even think a narwhal is a whale. I don't know. It's some type of fish. But anyways, you know, um, unicorns are these very beautiful horses, mostly white with the one horn coming out their forehead. You know, and you know, and the story goes that when Noah was building the ark, he was bringing two and two of each animal, so they can breed after the flood. Well, the unicorns decided to go run off and play, hence the unicorn song, and decided to, like I said, go off and play. And the flood happened, and they just floated away. That's why we don't have unicorns to this very day. Actually, like I said, I think the unicorns went and turned into the narwhal. It explains why that got the horn coming out of their head. So, so unicorns are actually still around, just in a different form. All right, Frogzilla, you be safe and keep that rubber side down, and don't let people tell you differently when it comes to riding a Sportster. Ride what you want, you know. So we'll catch you later. But yeah, unicorns are still there. They're just in fish form. Um, but then the ancestors of the narwhal of the unicorn is of course a horse. They just don't have a horn. Uh, but fairies and unicorns and dragons do live in the world of Harry Potter, the magical world. That's why we mostly can't see those. Um, there's no leprechauns in that. Well, they're in the magical world, but they're not in the world of Harry Potter, though. That's kind of pretty pissy on J.K. Rowling, you know. But yeah. So you got dragons, and you got leprechauns. Well, then you got geez, unicorns. Well, let's see more about unicorns. Their blood is silver, so from what I hear. And if you drink the blood of a leprechaun, not why would you drink the blood of a leprechaun? Their blood is green, ish. Now, if you drink the blood of a unicorn, as it says in Harry Potter movies and stuff, blah blah blah, you get eternal life. You know, but killing something that pure, that innocent in itself is pretty much like splitting. What you do is you damage yourself, you damage your soul because you killed something so pure, so innocent, um, that you're no longer whole. You no longer um, shall exist yourself. But when you drink the blood of a unicorn, you get everlasting life, just like an everlasting gobstopper. Never goes away. You know, it's always there. But then again, why would you want to kill a unicorn? You know, kind of. No, you don't. You just don't want to do that. Um, and oh, I forgot about this one. A unicorn with wings. Yeah, apparently they did exist at one point. Um, how do you think you got Pegasus? It was a unicorn that lost its horn because the damn Greeks decided to say nope, you got to lose your horn if you want wings. So there you go. Leave it to the Greeks to destroy something so beautiful. But then they created the black Pegasus. So you got the white and the black, which would the black Pegasus isn't even evil. It's just black because you got to have variety. A unicorn without a horn. Well, yeah, that would be a horse, or it's ancestor of the unicorn. But then the Pegasus is that too because um, the Greeks had unicorns at some point in time, the way before the biblical times, But and their my thinking is they took the horn away and gave it wings, so therefore you got Pegasus. But if I remember right, didn't Pegasus have a horn? I don't know, something like that. Yes, Pegasus is a word. It is in the Greek mythology. I do believe it belonged to Perseus, or was a gift to Perseus, or something like that. Um, but yeah, I think a Pegasus had a horn. I can't remember. If they didn't, to me, I'd like to say the Greeks just took it and gave them wings. Um, made the made them drink a wet Red Bull so they got their wings. So what other mythical creatures are out there? You know, I'm going to take myself a gander. And I didn't hit the microphone. You know, mermaids, mermaids, um, mermaids are real. We have them at our Renaissance Festival, and you can't tell me that they're not real. I mean, they're there. I see them every weekend for 7 weekends. I see them. They're there. We got four of them. You know, um, they're very beautiful. They love to smile, and they love to cause trouble. I tell you that. Um, they don't get very far because they just they cause trouble for their own pleasure. You know, just because they find it amusing. So yeah, we just leave it at that. Just mermaids are very beautiful. Their tails are come in very many different colors. The ones that we have, their tails change colors. you know, but mermaids are mythical creatures. Then you got Bigfoot. Yep, Bigfoot. You know, I've never seen a Bigfoot. I've seen my own Bigfoot, right here, size 13. You know, um, but Bigfoot is believed to live in the Northeast United States and the Northwest United States. Why? Because that's where all the woods are. You ain't gonna catch them in the Midwest or in the North woods of Minnesota or Wisconsin or anything like that, or down in Utah or anything in the mountains. Um, you're gonna actually, who wants to live up like around Washington and Maine and stuff like that. I have not seen. I've watched one or two episodes of Sirens, and for some reason that just turned me off. Um, so no, and I mean big foot. You know, if I'm talking about one, it's foot. You know, I've got a big foot. Two, I got big feet. um, and the cousin or relative, or maybe you want to call it brother of Bigfoot, is the abominable snowman, which lives in what, the Himalayas. Yeah, that's where you got the term "don't eat the yellow snow." Plain and simple. Monsters Inc. They're right there. Don't eat the yellow snow. It's not just a flavor. Just saying. You know, werewolves, another mythical creature, and you could people actually do say they do exist. Nah, they don't exist. No. Why? Werewolves are something that the Hollywood, the movie industry dreamed up for money. Actually, people were writing about them before Hollywood, but Hollywood exploited them for money. They're not really real. People think they're real. People actually think they are one. No. I have never seen a person who claims to be a werewolf turn into one when there's a full moon. Never, ever, ever, ever. How you doing, Ginsky? How you doing? Loved your show this morning. I really did. Threw me off by playing Christmas music, but I loved it this morning. And if you haven't checked out Ginsky's channel, do it. You'll love it. I mean, music, everything. I love it. She's a great gal, great show. Go check her out. You won't be disappointed. You know, the Chimera. I don't know anything about the Chimera. Um, not even sure what a Chimera is. A Chimera is, according to Greek mythology, was a monstrous fire-breathing hybrid creature composed of different animal parts from Lucia, Asia Minor. It is usually depicted as a lion with the head of a goat protruding from its back and a tail that might end with a snake's head. Well, there you go. Um, that's what a chimera is. Never heard of it until now. Then you got the Loch Ness monster, which is real, by the way. Doesn't matter how many pictures they take of it, and it's all blurry, and they say it's just that the Loch Ness monster is real. I dare any of you to challenge me on that one and say it's not. Um, Loch Ness in Scotland, that lake can actually hold. They have proven that it can hold a dinosaur, the one from one of the swimming ones. Um, it was very possible that it could have survived. One could survive in there with all the vegetation and the fish. They say it was very possible. It probably one is probably there. We don't know. They found caverns deep enough and big enough to hide it. So they don't even know. They say it's possible, but they don't know. Um, I say it's real. Who am I to say that it's not? Right? Then you got griffins, which is an eagle head, lion's body with wings. You know, very beautiful creatures. You don't want to piss them off though. Um, they get very mean and can hurt you in a heartbeat. You know, so you don't want to piss off a griffin. And we've talked about a leprechaun. We've talked about yetis, which is big feet or abominable snowman. Centaurs, which is half human, half horse. Um, they're pretty nasty when you piss them off. They will hurt you, if anything. Um, if you don't meet their agenda or do what's asked of you, they will hurt you. They will kill you. Gnomes are these little ceramic creatures that sit in your yard and come alive when you're not around. It's just like toys, like um, Toy Story. The toys come alive when you're not around. That's what gnomes are. They they sit still in your yard and pose, and then when you're not around, they're up, moving around, doing things. You know, they work closely with the fae, um, but the gnomes are more localized, more central, so they will actually take up a small area and they will watch that for you. But that's what gnomes are, and they're also kind of devious and mischievous. So gotta watch those. And I'm looking at a picture of a Pegasus, and a Pegasus does not have a horn. You know, then you got your ghouls, your imps. A basilisk is a mythical creature. I'm not even sure how you could actually classify a basilisk as a mythical creature because it's a snake. It's a real thing. You know, trolls. I'm not talking about internet trolls either. You know, these are ones that actually turn to stone. Or is that goblins? No, God, that's goblins. Trolls live under the bridge. You know, like in Billy Goat Gruff, troll lived under the bridge. Um, mean, ugly suckers too. You know, you got your manticores, pixies. Oh my God, pixies are so they're evil thingies. They say a pixie is a mythical creature of British folklore. Here you go, British folklore. Pixies are considered to be particularly concentrated in the high moorland areas around Devon and Cornwall, and in the New Forest area of Dorset and Hampshire. There you go. Um, they were first mentioned in 1824. Counted on those British people to screw things up, huh? And you got hippogriffs, which is in the Harry Potter series. Imagine that. Um, very royal, very, very mystique creatures, very prideful. You know, merman, which is the male version of a mermaid. You know, Earthlings. So there's many mythical creatures out there. You know, you like golems and cyclopses, gnomes, Arnies, leprechauns. You know, I'm getting onto a list here. Ogres, goblins, fairies, gorgons, centaurs, fauns, werewolves, all kinds of creatures. But the ones I particularly like are, I've got a phone here that's going off pretty bad. The process is on, so I'm probably going to jump over there in a bit to catch that. Um, the most ones that I like for mythical creatures are the Fae. The Fae are pretty good. I like those. Um, love me a dragon. Love me a dragon. Um, if you act right and you treat a dragon right and with respect, you ain't got a problem. Gloria Ginsky 18 is from the Philippines, I do believe. I do believe she's from the Philippines. Um, Gargoyles, they are stone creatures on churches. And they're there to, legend has it, to protect and watch the church. So that's why you see gargoyles on churches with a Gothic style. Because they're watching over the church. And legend has it that if you are evil or not of good intent, the gargoyle comes alive and prevents that person or entity from entering the church. Um, I mean, there's a movie called Gargoyles about that, and gargoyles are pretty interesting because um, they're not necessarily bad creatures, and they're not necessarily good. They're almost kind of like a chaotic neutral. But their main thing is to protect the church. And, you know, but, you know, you got your good ones and your bad ones too. So, I mean, it goes with saying you can't have something good without the bad. So, um, love me gargoyles. God, gargoyles are just, they're pretty awesome to me, I think. Um, you actually go to one of them Gothic style churches like Notre Dame and stuff, and if you actually look, each gargoyle has a personality of its own, so you can pretty much figure out how badass each one is. So, but but gargoyles too, Gloria, they see inside you. So if you're trying to fool them, they do see inside you and they will figure you out. But they also know when someone's good at heart, and they will be nice to them and offer them comfort and shelter inside the church, you know, and they will protect the innocent. I believe they do that. Um, you know, um, Stoned during the day, alive at night. You know, I think gargoyles are pretty cool creatures myself. You know, so but I think that's going to be my show tonight because it's 8:46 and I have to get to bed to get to work. I'm not even sure if it's raining tomorrow, but I'm when I end up getting to work, I have to get up for work soon. Anyways, but whether you want to believe them or not, believe they're real or they're fake or just a you know thing of your imagination, think about it. Your keys go missing, your shoes were moved, or your razor was moved, or you know, your TV remote was not where you left it last, or you can't find your remote. That's more likely the Fae, just messing with you. And all you gotta do is offer them some rum in a thimble, maybe a little bit of chocolate. You know, it doesn't take much to make a fairy happy. You know, leprechauns, dragons, werewolves, vampires. Vampires don't exist. No, just something somebody made up. You know. um, so yeah, just think about it. Next time your keys go missing or you see a rainbow, stuff like that. Just think about it. Do they actually exist, or don't they? Just think about it. But then again, who's to say that they don't exist or that they do exist? I'm not going to say yes or no. It's not my thing to say. I've got my beliefs, you know. Um, oh, I forgot one mythical creature. I forgot to mention one. A biker at a Renaissance festival. That's one mythical creature. And that makes me a mythical creature because I'm a biker and I'm at a Renaissance festival. So that's an upcoming show why bikers should go to a Renaissance festival. But, anyways, think about it. Just think about it. Do they actually really exist? Or are they just a figment of our imaginations? Did we actually make these creatures up? Who knows? That's not for me to say yes or no. That's for you to find out on your own. It all is a matter of what you believe. Exactly. There are things beyond what we can see. You know. So yeah, think about it. Do they or don't they exist? It's a question for one to ponder, to get inside the head and just think: do they? Don't they? If my bike starts tomorrow, I must have made the fairy happy because I pretty much picked on him tonight. um, but anyways, um, if you like my show tonight, thank you very much. Um, hit the like button, tell your friends, subscribe, comment. The whole spiel. Um, yeah, tonight's show is just meant to be fun, just something fun um, that we could all just get together and talk about, and just um, you have always been saved and honored more by nature and elements, and always. Yeah, and exactly, Genevieve. Um, and that's always the nature and elements. That's more of your fairies and your leprechauns. You know, um, there's different levels of fairies. Because of nature. But yeah, think about it. Do they exist or don't they? Get inside your head and think about it. Come up with, sit there and think about it. Write down. Do they exist? Do they not? What evidence do you have that they do? What evidence do you have that they don't? You know, you're welcome, Genevieve. You're very welcome. I could actually sit and do a whole show about the Fae, about the leprechauns, you know, all kinds of the mythical creatures out at our Renaissance Festival. The Fae are very, very popular out there. They are very much out there, along with a lot of spirits, as we will, because it's home to so many people. So many people called it home that when they moved on, they didn't ascend to their next level, the next phase of their lives. They stuck around, and their essence and their spirits are still at that festival. That I do know. I have felt it. I've seen it. Um, you've come to our Renaissance Festival, and you walk in and during the day, and you're in awe. You're like, oh, cool, this is great. But when the sun goes down and it's after hours, and you've got the pass to be there after hours, it's a whole different story. That is a whole nother complete show that I'm working on about our Renaissance Festival. It is it's a thing on its own. It's actually, I want to say it's a whole living, breathing thing on its own. But the magic there is just unbelievable. Genevieve, you would just love it there. You'd walk in and you'd feel it, and you you're like me. You don't know what to do with it because it overpowers you. But once you've been there enough, you're used to it, and you just welcome it into you. Um, yeah, we'll just leave it at that. Um, Witches and warlocks next week. um, Genevieve, I've got stuff that I talk about to a brother of mine that I don't bring out here because it's um, a whole different mindset than what I am, than what am here. I'm a biker, yes, but I'm also pagan. Yeah, there you go. I said it. I'm pagan. I don't care. But so I talk about other things too, and I can talk to you about those later because I trust you with that. So, what festival it is? Is it? It is the Minnesota Renaissance Festival. It starts 2 weekends before Labor Day, and it actually runs 7 weekends. And Labor Day weekend is the actual third weekend. And this year it runs into the first weekend of October. If there's 5 weekends in September, then we end in September. You know, um, it's a very magical place. It is one place I recommend if you're into the magic, if you're into the fae, to come there and experience what the magic is. The magic is more, will notice it more at night after hours than you would during the day. Um, Too many people during the day kind of cloud it up, they go hide. But once everything is said and done, the after hours, you feel it. You will feel it. You'll know it. Um, so with that, I'm going to cut it right there and think about it. Do they exist? Do they not? What do you, what is it you believe? What do you believe? You know, I'm not questioning faith or anything. No, just asking what you believe in. What is it do you believe in? Do you believe in the fae? Do you believe in the leprechauns? Do you believe all the mythical creatures? Think about it. I think you all do. You know, we all believe in some mythical creature at some point. I mean, come on. What about the dryer that eats the sock? There's got to be a fairy or something in there, you know. But with that, I'm going to say y'all have a good night. Hit like, share, subscribe, do, all that jazz. Drop me a comment, whatever. Um, you do great. If you don't, oh well, not a big deal to me. So y'all have a good night. Y'all be safe. Keep the rubber side down, shiny side up, and be a decent human. We'll catch y'all later.